Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. In reality, we are all alone and strangers in this world. We are really alone and strangers in this world. This world would have been far more beautiful, far more livable if we have accepted this reality that we are strangers. We are alone. We are born alone and we think we are living together with someone, but it is not. And we have to remember that God is unknown and remains unknowable as well. Whereas the man is unknown, a stranger, but we can live with a stranger. We are always afraid. You are driving along the road, you stop at the traffic light, you see a stranger approaching you, you want to open the window to have a dialogue with him, but the other passengers, the family members, stop you from doing so. I had the example of this. At times at the traffic light there are vendors and beggars. So the moment you open the car, these vendors and then who do their trade on the highway at the traffic lights, they recognize in times to come they recognize the cars and the passengers. If somebody is plying a trade in fruits and today you had bought a fruit from that person, next time when your car stops at that, the person will come back to you knowing that you had bought the last time a fruit. This is natural and that happens. If you are having a shop and somebody comes in today and he spends a lot of money in purchasing, next time when the customer comes in, you will leave everything and approach him to help him in best possible manner. It is natural. In the shop, you are not afraid of strangers coming in. You do not take precaution, and no one of your family members ever tells you that these people who are plying their trade, poor people staying whole day in rain and sun doing their trade, whatever be the nature, they are doing hard work in sun and rain, in all kinds of weathers, to make their living, just as the shop owner does it. But we are always afraid of strangers. We do not allow, it is pointed out, that this person, this beggar, this vendor will recognize the car next time when you are not there and someone else driving the same car, the person will approach. What is wrong in falling into love with a stranger. Remember, we carry the same spark. We are nourished and nurtured by the same sun and the moon and the stars and the sky, the same wind, the same rainfall, everything is the same. Why do we feel strange? Why we feel uncomfortable when you have to encounter a stranger for the first time? The stranger is never welcomed in the first instance. You feel the person is unnecessarily approaching us. One of the most beautiful aspect of life is that we are all strangers, and we are trying to change this. There is no way that you can change this, that the world is beautiful because we are all strangers. Is it not a surprise? Is it not a miracle that you are in love with a stranger? A stranger is your friend. The entire world is full of strangers. Then it will become a mystery. How you come in contact with a person far away you have never met. And even some of the persons who share my posts or send the comments, I do not even know what they look like, what is their name, because everyone carries a different name on the social media, hide their real identity. Is it not strange? And sometimes the messages comes, a call comes in, I respond to all of them. We have to recognize this fact that we are born alone, we live alone, we are strangers, but we carry the same spark of divinity in each one of us. The same life force. Two people are sitting in the same room, sharing the same platform, but they are strangers. Sharing the same atmosphere, sharing the same, all that is existential, the rain, the sun, the breath, whatever you exhale becomes the part of the existence, and then the other person inhales that. So he is inhaling you, you are inhaling him, and still you consider yourself strangers. We consider ourselves to be strangers. When really a person enters into a love relation or falls into love, as we call it, do you think you are falling in with the real person in love? Certainly not. You are falling in love with the man or woman of your imagination. You have imagined your spouse to be like this. This is the way she will look like, her gestures, the demeanor, everything. So you are in fact falling in love with the person of your imagination. When you are not together, you see that person from your terrace, or meet him for some time on the seashore, or you are walking through the corridors, walking through a marketplace, or to a movie hall, holding hand of one another, and you consider, you think that we are made for each other. We are made for each other. Such statements become part of our normal routine. You fell in love not with the real man that he is or a woman that he is. Instead, you are falling in love with the person of your own imagination. All of us fall in love with the person of our own imagination. When you see that person from your terrace, or walk on the seashore, marketplace, or a restaurant, or any other public place, holding each other's hand, you feel that you are made for each other. No one is made for each other. Unconsciously, you go on imposing your imaginations onto that person. You go on, we create the imaginations, we impose imaginations on the person. You create an aura around that person. And in the same way, he creates an aura around you. It appears that you are making him more beautiful, but in reality, you are weaving your own dream around the person and go on overlooking the reality. And you try in your best possible manner that in no way, whatever imagination you had for that person or that person has for you are not disturbed in any way. So for that reason, the woman behaves in the manner, the way man wants, and man behaves also in the same manner, the way women wants him to. But this you can do only during the honeymoon period or for a certain period of time of certain hours. Once you have married a person and you have to live 24 hours, then isn't it that you are doing an acting and it becomes a burden? In order to fulfill the imagination of the person, how long you can do the acting, can go on doing the acting. Sooner or later this becomes a burden. And you start breaking all those imagination that the person has woven around you, because you do not want to be imprisoned in those imaginations. You want to live, each one of us want to live a natural and a spontaneous life. You do not want him to be the way he wants, you to behave in a particular situation or circumstance. The similar is the case with the person. Everyone wants freedom in life. Freedom to think, freedom to live life within certain parameters, freedom. You do not want to live in the image of others. Instead, you want to be natural and spontaneous as you are. But the wife wants you to dress for this way, husband wants wife to dress this way or that. We want children to dress in this way or other. So sometimes the children rebels. Every child has something unpleasant to say about their parents. Very rarely do we find a person who doesn't have anything unpleasant to say about the parents. You have to give the freedom to the person. And only with freedom comes great responsibility. I'll give you an example. Once, a couple years long ago, there was a function at the Indian High Commission's residence. So it was somewhere, function was related to India's independence or Republic Day celebration. So I was one of the invitees. My daughter wanted to go with me. So I said, okay, you can accompany me. So because she has to go to a friend's birthday party, and she asked me that after that I will drop her by that, and I said, how would you come? He said, they will drop her. So she asked me, what is the dress code? I said, the function is at Indian High Commission's place. So naturally people will be dressed in Indian attire, male and female both, specifically females. Male may be in their trousers or in normal way, or they put on the Indian wears. She said, okay. When she got ready, she put on long jeans and a top reaching up to the waist. This was her choice. I did not make any comment or tell her anything. I just gave her what was expected there. When she reaches there, almost all the ladies were dressed in Indian garb except those who belonged to the other embassies, and so they were in the attire of their own style. She came close to me and she said, Daddy, I'm feeling embarrassed. I said, for what? She said, everybody is dressed in Indian wear. I told her, I told you already what can be expected of that, but you remember, watch yourself, how elegantly you are dressed. You do not have a cut-up jean or short or any kind of indecent clothes. It's well protected, covered. Look at some of the ladies, the way they are dressed. You should be proud of the decision once you make. And I did not impose my ideas that she should dress this way. But had it been the mother, she would have made her change her clothes if she was going with the mother. Although she commented, you are going this way? He said, yes. So she didn't say anything because she told, you are going with your daddy, that's all right. So after that she became comfortable, but we impose our ideas, dress code, mannerisms, behavior on the children. This they do not like. Instead, create an environment. They dress according to their decency in that manner. And now she is a grown-up, independent person. She dresses to suit the occasion. Whatever dress code she feels to wear, she dresses it. This is the situation of every man and a woman, whether it is children or not. We want freedom. We want to be the way we are. And this is the main cause of conflict between the couples. Love, if it is real, it gives freedom. Love gives you the freedom to be the way you want. If one gets joy in it, and then you can say that children may go astray. If you give a freedom, you dress the way you want it, but maintain the decency in the clothes. When you are going to work, you have to maintain the decency and the decorum, the code of conduct, the code of the dress code in the best possible manner. This is how it goes on. But we do not allow the freedom, and that is one of the greatest cause of the conflict in our lives. We do not give freedom to speak or remain silent. You want to remain silent at a particular time, but you are being asked to speak. There is nothing wrong in speaking or remaining silent or in anything, begging or having the wealth or making the resolutions of the mind. Nothing is wrong. The only thing is this: if we have known who we are, we can give freedom to anyone. We are not afraid. We do not allow the freedom for the simple reason that we are afraid something wrong may happen. There is nothing wrong in anything. The concept of right and wrong, good and bad, exists in our mind. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna uses a verse which is symbolic of all kinds of duality. Arjuna asks, what is the quality of equanimity? Krishna tells him, Sitoshna Samadukha. One who has equanimity amidst the pair of opposites, heat and cold. Heat, cold, and heat, summer. These are pair of opposites. In poverty and riches, in any situation where the mind is creating duality, you are in harmony. There is no conflict, but it does happen, conflict. And we are not aware how moment to moment we enter into conflict and live a life of conflict. Simple things. Someone asks, do you want a coffee or tea? First thing, do you want a hot beverage or cold beverage? So it is easier. You still think over whether I should take the cold beverage or the hot beverage. Your decision never comes instant. Then the person asks, okay, you say somehow or the other, after a few moments you say that I'll prefer a hot beverage. Would you prefer a coffee or tea? Again, then decision comes. I think I'll prefer, that is a statement, I think I'll prefer a tea. Okay, tea, right. What kind of tea do you want? Do you want a herbal tea or the tea with regular milk and sugar? Again, a question mark comes. What should I take? Then you look on the side. What should I take? Daddy, you take whatever you like. Then again these kind of indecisive situation comes in life moment to moment. But we are not, that is why there is no equanimity, there is no harmony, there is no balance between us. And life becomes a chaos. The journey from this chaos is cosmos. There are three very important events in life. Birth. With the birth, you enter into the journey from at the time of birth, you take a few breaths. That's the first thing that you do. Nothing else you know. Whether you are conscious or unconscious, and more so, a child is unconscious. He cannot speak, but he takes the breath. The life begins. It continues. You go through the various stages. You enter the university to get the education. You come out of the education and still you are uneducated because you do not have the answers to the simple questions that life asks on a day-to-day basis. Then the journey continues. Education in different forms, experiences. This process is known as awakening, wisdom, or love. Love is wisdom, love is awakening. Then comes the last aspect, light. Light is the ultimate flowering of wisdom, the ultimate flowering of knowing, the ultimate flowering of awakening. And thereafter, you continue to share the light that you are. You continue to bring light into the lives of others who are grouping in darkness of ignorance, darkness of this and that. Then the final stage comes in, the stage when you return to the seed form, the dissolution. These are the three stages: life, love, and light. Some times ago, in 2015 or thereafter, when I visited Washington, we had a series of talks on light, life, love, and light. Now, enter into the other stage. A person is writing a diary of a seeker named, entitled Life, Love and Light, or Love Bridges Life and Light. Love bridges life and light. That is the title, the proposed title. The work is in the final stages of finishing. So only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.